Good morning. Welcome back to another Monday Morning High Five. Myself, Richard. Um, we are looking at Joshua chapter 17. I'm going to summarize the entire chapter. Um, Very kind of similar in nature. The These ending chapters in Joshua is all about how the land was kind of allocated to each tribe. And so with chapter 17, we're looking at the allotment to the people of Manasseh. Manasseh was the firstborn son of Joseph. And so um, we'll see there, Manasseh was actually a pretty significantly sized tribe. And so part of their land was on the I guess, west side of the Jordan River. And then they also had a section that's on the east side of the Jordan River. And this just gives us kind of the allotment that uh, falls on the east side of the Jordan. Um, it tells us about one of the sons of the tribe of Manasseh. His name was Zelophehad, um, where he didn't have any sons. Typically, land was transferred from father to son. He didn't have any sons, so his daughters approached Joshua. They had previously approached Moses. They're gonna approach Joshua and request that they be given land. Um, and Then towards the end of the chapter, as all of their land is kind of portioned out, the people are still kind of like, I don't know if this is enough room for us, and so they're allowed to expand into. There's like a forest area that's near the land that been given. Um, and then there's hill country in the land of the Canaanites. And with each tribe, we haven't necessarily touched on it directly, but with each tribe, there was land, there was territory that they were given that for a lot of these tribes, they did not take over. It was theirs. The territory belonged to them, but the people that were in the land already, they didn't get rid of them. They didn't drive them out. They chose not to not to, fight them or get rid of them. So there were some territories that belonged to them, but they did not occupy. So that's pretty much the summary of chapter 17. So Rich, what did you see in chapter 17?
Um, what I saw was just looking at how uh his daughters approached Joshua um to request the land that was promised to them through Moses. And this was back in Numbers, when kind of Moses was allocating the land. They approached Moses, and Moses, he approached God. Once they presented the situation, the problem to him, he took the problem and approached God to see what God said about it. And God said, he's going to give them the land. And this normally doesn't happen. Normally land is only given to sons as an inheritance because that name will continue on. But God made this rule, this exception for his daughters. And at this time, it's what was interesting to me is just that, or what I thought about kind of the encouragement in this is just Moses is gone, and now it's Joshua. But if God gives you a promise, if God says something, it doesn't matter who is in between, it doesn't matter who is in charge. Like that promise will still remain. That promise is still going to be fulfilled, and that promise is still going to happen. Like I say, Joshua, it, they didn't talk to Joshua initially, right? Joshua could have said, "No, we're not doing that," or "This is what, like we only do it this way." right? It's only been done this way. But that wasn't his approach. But we just see that God is going to fulfill and keep his promise. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is, it doesn't matter who is in charge. If God says something, it's going to come to pass. And so that was just one of the things that I saw in there, is just that, the daughters are getting what was promised to them like a while ago through Moses. Although Moses is gone, that promise is still being carried out and fulfilled here. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we talked, I mean, I was looking at it just maybe a little bit more from the perspective of Joshua, how Joshua really took it seriously, that he followed the word of God. In verse 4, the phrase that really caught my attention, it says, um, so according to the mouth of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among the brothers of their father. Um, Joshua, there's a high priest, right? There's a priest that's there, there's religious leaders, but Joshua thought it was important as well to listen to God, not just for the battles, not just when there was a fight, not just when, okay, how are we going to take this over? How are we going to beat this enemy? He also wanted to make sure that every promise that God had made to Israel was going to get fulfilled.
Hmm.
He saw his role. He saw that he had a part to play in that, and so he wanted to make sure that he got it right.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like you were saying, like just a very similar encouragement that we should want to make sure that we get things right, that we are really connecting, we are listening, we're hearing from God, and we are getting it right, because our obedience and our getting clear instruction can impact other people. Like
Yeah.
like you said, it would have been really sad if Joshua had just you know, uh, like you said, that's just not how we do things. I'm sorry. You all
Yeah.
seem like very nice women, but I'm not doing that. It that would have been on him.
Yeah.
That it would have been on him. Um, for and I mean, we talked about it too. Like he had been tricked once. He
Yeah.
had kind of made a rash decision. He hadn't really consulted with God. He had already kind of messed up once. And I think you just see he has a little bit more of a determination, like, no, let me make sure I get it right. And
Yeah.
so, like, with each group, with each tribe, he's representing God. He's representing, okay, God promised you this. I need to make sure that I am hearing correctly from God to make sure you get what you're supposed to get.
Yeah.
Like no one could be able to say that God didn't fulfill his promise and it be God's fault.
Right.
Like if you didn't completely occupy your territory, that wasn't God's fault. You
Yeah.
chose not to do it, but you were given what you were promised. And so
Hmm.
um yeah, it just, looking at it from both Joshua's perspective and just from God's perspective, like you were saying, just making sure there was nothing that God said that, oh, well, I mean, he said it, but he never followed through. Like, no, everything God said, he made sure it happened. So,
Yeah.
you see anything else or any?
Um. No, that was pretty much it for me.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Well, we thank you for joining us. Um, as we always put out there, we would love to hear your comments. Even if it's just a good morning, we'll definitely respond, let you know that we see you seeing us. We appreciate it. So, yeah, we hope you have a great rest of your Monday. And if God says the same, we'll be back next Monday looking at chapter 18, which is a long one, but we'll we'll have something for you. So
Yeah.
thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.